Good evening. A few weeks ago, Angela shared with you about an experience that she had studying in Austria, where she felt unable to respond to Christ's call because of being drunk. My name is Lindsay Walter, and I am Associate Director of Campus Ministry. This evening, I would like to invite you to look at another aspect of Campus Ministry's 40 Days Sober campaign, Hopes Dashed. When I was 13, a group of my friends and I decided to drink for the first time. We were spending the night at a friend's house, and her parents were away for the evening. Eventually, after quite a bit of drinking, my 90-pound host passed out and began throwing up blood. We eventually had to call her parents, and she had to get her stomach pumped. Jump ahead a few years, and it's 2 weeks after I graduated college, and I'm sitting in a waiting room with my best friend to the ER. We're waiting to check him into rehab for alcohol use and abuse. We went to college together, and he has spent the last 100 days of our college experience drunk. I do not share these two experiences with you in order to warn you about the perils of drinking. I know that you're fully aware of the dangers associated with extreme consumption. No, this evening, I hope to talk to you about what happened in both of these instances, as well as many others when drinking was involved. And that is, my hopes and expectations were not met. The first time we drank, we by no means hoped that one of us would get hurt or have to go to the hospital. We desired to have fun, feel cool, and grown up. We hoped to find out what all this drinking excitement was all about. And during those last days of college, my friend did not hope to end up in rehab 2 weeks later. He had hoped to make the last days of college memorable and fun. What I desire to share with you this evening is that 10 years after graduation, I can clearly see that when my friends and I would drink, that we came to each situation with hopes and expectations. We desired to have a good time, to create a bond with our friends, to feel beautiful or attractive, to have a certain boy notice us, or not to worry about a bad test grade or an argument with our parents. And what I've come to realize is that those hopes and desires were and are good and holy. I remember getting ready with girlfriends for an evening out. We had a soundtrack of all of our favorite songs that would get us excited and ready for the evening's festivities. We'd be full of anticipation as we carefully chose what outfit to wear, and we discussed who was going to be at each party that we had vigilantly researched in the days before. We were full of hopes and desires that were in fact good. But unfortunately, we are often let down. Our hopes and desires not fully met. Each of those evenings, as people got in arguments or fights, sick, the boy we liked kissed one of our friends, security or the police broke up our parties, or in the worst cases, one of us ended up in the ER or the police station. We ended up settling for much less than we desired. And yet the next day, after we resolved the issues of the previous evening, we would sit together telling stories and laughing as if the night before was in fact the best night of our lives. Why do we do that? Why do we celebrate when in fact we feel disappointment? Well, looking back, I can tell you why I participated in this cycle of disappointment. I was looking for what I know now to be community. I desired not only to have fun with my friends, but also to be able to be completely honest about who I was and to be accepted for simply being me. We had developed this false sense of intimacy since we had seen one another in our worst times and in most embarrassing moments. And although we had all of these shared experiences, like holding one another's hair back or crying together over broken hearts, we were not at a place where we could share our biggest fears, hurts, and insecurities. I couldn't tell my friends that I often didn't feel beautiful or smart enough, that even in a room full of people, I sometimes felt lonely. And because I couldn't be authentic and fully honest with my friends, I never felt accepted for just being me. It seems those drunken nights never lived up to my hopes and desires. During this Lenten season, we journey together towards the cross. And as I have spent the last few months reflecting and praying about this issue of hopes dashed, I've come to understand ever so slightly what the apostles must have felt on that day in Calvary. The apostles had come to love Jesus and to truly believe that he was the Messiah, the one that would deliver them from the Romans, the one who would become king. And here is Christ dead, hanging on a cross like a common criminal. The apostles' hopes and desires to be freed from the oppressive rule of the Romans and for Christ to rule in love were in fact good and holy. So what is the good news? Well, as you know, Christ did not stay dead. The apostles' greatest hopes and desires were in fact raised along with our Lord that Sunday morning. The good news for us is that sobriety during these 40 days and beyond will bring an awareness and renewal to our hopes and heart's desires. So I ask you during this Lenten season, what are your true hopes and desires? Is drinking getting in the way of those hopes being met? If it is not drinking, are there other ways you try to falsely fulfill the things your heart desires most? I would like to invite you this Lenten season to take time to reflect and discern what your good and holy hopes and desires are, and to be honest about what gets in the way of those things being fulfilled. May God bless us all with the courage to be honest and pursue that which is good and holy this Lenten season.